Hi, thanks for joining my podcast today.
Hello.
This is Evita. Is that how you say it?
Evita.
I don't I think you reached out to me on Instagram. Is that
Hmm.
how you found me? Yes. And I have been working with her and her husband Jovi for since like November, when it comes to like nutrition and fitness and kind of health coaching. So I thought it'd be interesting to have her on because it seems like she has like a good story about like why she does what she does. And you've talked about like eating, like having disordered eating, and I really like how you structure your program and it's very like balanced and you work with people where they're at. And so that was why I decided to work with you because I like your guys' vibe. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to work with somebody, I don't want someone that's going to be like harassing me or telling me I'm not doing it good enough, all that stuff.
Yes.
So, anyways, why don't you tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Hey, I'm Evita. I'm technically a holistic nutrition coach focusing on women's hormone health, metabolism, and just getting a better relationship with food while still reaching some body goals if that's what you're looking for. And we love working with you, so we want to put that out there. You're
Okay.
awesome. And yeah, we have me and my husband have a coaching program, like you said, that we help women with everything I said. And really, the goal with it is just to help people stop letting diets and food control their life because that's what I had been controlled by for so many years. And I really felt like it was impossible for me to have a life that was not controlled by those things. And when I finally got to that place, I really wanted to help others because it's a really beautiful thing to see people have that shift in them and really like find that freedom in life. Yeah.
Yes, very true. And I feel like I kind of had come to that in my life too,
Mhm.
like the last few years. And so I feel like it was the right time for me to work on stuff again, if that makes sense, because I learned to love myself as I was and tried not to let food control me anymore. And I feel like you guys have been encouraging me, and it's been nice because I feel like I'm able to control my food better. I'm not obsessing over it and stuff. And so that's where like diet culture gets you all the time. And then we just beat ourselves up all the time because you like, you eat cookies for the day and then you're like, okay, well, I'm fucked. Now I have to eat it for the rest of the month and I'm just going to binge it and I'm never going to eat it again and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
I've
such
been
a
there. Been there.
struggle. Yeah. Well, like, what do you want to share a little bit about your, like, what led you to that place and how you got
Yeah.
there?
So as long as I can remember, what felt like I was heavier than the other girls. I noticed a difference in myself and always had insecurities from a very young age. I think a lot of it stemmed from the way my mom talked about herself. She was always, do as I say, not as I do type of
Yeah.
individual. She was like, you girls are beautiful. I have a sister too. You girls are beautiful and you are perfect. And, but she spoke terribly about herself and she was
Yeah.
always on a diet. She did all sorts of bizarre things, like slim
Yeah.
fast. I remember at one point she was only eating saltines and Diet Coke. She was doing like Nutribolic, where it was like all like meat and butter only. Like it was bizarre fad diets. And I when I got to a certain age, I was like, I want to try it. I want to lose weight. And so I forget honestly what the first thing I did was, but you get that initial feeling of like losing a few pounds and it's a dopamine hit and
Yeah.
you want to continue with it. And it's not sustainable, it's some crazy stuff. And so I did like multiple rounds of diets with her. I always gained the weight back. I would, try it over and over and over again. And that led me to a point that I developed a really bad binge and restrict cycle. So I was, doing the diet, I would fail at it, and then I would binge like crazy, and then vow to start on Monday, and the cycle repeated itself for years. Then, when I was probably around 16, I got really into like calorie counting, where I was super obsessed with counting calories. And I ate 1,200 calories, the magic number that everyone
Yeah.
thought you had to eat. Again, I couldn't like I went through periods of time where I was disciplined and I would lose the weight, but I would always gain it back. And not to get too far into deep of the eating disorder, but I finally got to a point that it became a severe issue. Like I was abusing diet pills, I was attempting bulimia, got to the point that I basically became full-blown anorexic. So I got down to like 90 pounds. And
Mhm.
in my mind, I was disciplined. Like this
Yeah.
was me actually doing the right thing in my mind. But I developed, my hair was falling out, my periods, I started losing my period. I was all I could think about was food. Like I was just all day long, that was all I thought about. And when I did allow myself to have a cheat day, it was, to the point I would eat until the point that I got sick because I was just so starved for food. And eventually I started binging and restricting again. And I gained the weight. So I went from like 95 pounds back all the way up to I don't even know when my heaviest weight was, but regardless, the weight doesn't matter. It was the unhappy cycle I was in. And so that's where I hit rock bottom because I was like, I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't live like this. So I chose to go through a nutrition like certification, and I was in college to try to get answers for myself. And once I realized, I was like, I've been setting myself up for failure. I've been doing the exact opposite what I'm supposed to be doing all these years. I started trying to understand, how our body works and how weight loss actually works and how you keep it off, what a healthy lifestyle looks like. And
Mhm.
once I found that and learned that, that's when I got into the coaching space. So sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's
No,
my
that's a
in a
good answer.
nutshell right there.
Well, I mean, that's a good answer. Like some people have to go to, like an eating disorder like group or home or all kinds of
Yeah.
different stuff.
Mhm.
So some people I feel like are able to work on it themselves and some people need help. And so I feel like when I started learning about more nutrition things and other stuff like that, that it did help me as well because I think we're just taught different things growing up all the time. I saw my mom and my grandmas all eating and dieting and talking about themselves and how beautiful you are. But, if you wore that in black, black would be so slimming and,
Mhm.
comparing me and my cousin and just all kinds of stuff. And so it just really gets to you. I think our moms probably saw their moms do that and that's why they're doing it. And then they fell trapped to the diet culture and society telling them they had to be a certain way.
I know.
It's really hard to watch other people that still haven't like found like the freedom, I guess. I think once you're not afraid of food, then it really starts to help. And like, you got to love yourself before you can actually change too. You can't
That's a
shame
huge
yourself
one.
into it. So I did that for a long time myself. Well, I mean, what did I want to kind of just if you're talking to people and they're struggling with their image and like eating and never staying on track or feeling guilty, like what are some things that you as a coach and somebody who's gone through this kind of stuff would share to other women who might not be in that place yet or understand some of this stuff?
I mean, a lot of times we have to take weight loss off the table for a while.
Mhm.
And like you said, learn to love yourself, learn what the different kind of like stages of life look like as far as like building some muscle, focusing on strength and focusing on like different wins that are not the scale going down because
Mhm.
a lot of times it's like they have zero semblance of healthy habits. And so you have to get like a foundation of healthy habits down without weight loss being the goal. And
Yeah.
that's a really hard thing to like wrap your mind around sometimes because we
Yeah.
have been taught that weight loss is the only, goal. That's all we can do is focus on the scale going down, and that's what progress is, and that's what the wins are. But really, if you don't have the foundation of understanding like how to nourish your body, how to have a sustainable routine, how to allow yourself the food you love in moderation, how to learn to strength train, sleep, stress, mindset, all of that stuff. If you don't have that foundation, even if you do lose the weight, it's going to be very, very, very hard for you to maintain your results because, you're just going to go back to what you knew previous.
Yeah. That's always what I've done. Like I've done different diets too. I honestly feel like right now the way I'm able to be successful, and maybe that's, well, part of the way, is I'm taking a medication which helps with my anxiety, depression, ADHD, and like pains and addictions and stuff, which is weird. And I never thought I would be in that place where I would take something. But I feel like that's been calming my mind down in a lot of
Yeah,
ways where I don't have that crazy loud food noise and obsession and anxiety around everything. And it's been really nice because I feel like I can actually control something. So, there's different ways for things to help with people. I mean, lots of people do like the diet drugs right now, like the Ozempic and stuff. And I think that's great for a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that are doing it and have lost a lot of weight, but I think that a lot of times if we don't learn how to deal with our issues and why we got there and then know how to move forward, then that's when it comes back, like,
absolutely.
and that's the hard part. Like we talked about earlier, I want to be able to control my food, but still enjoy my life and still enjoy food without it controlling me and obsessing all the time.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
so hard to do.
Sorry, my dog's barking.
Oh, that's all right. We like animals on here. It's all good. Um, and what are some of your foundational like principles in your coaching business that you guys kind of have?
Yeah, so I think learning to think of food in terms of what we can add, not what we can subtract, because just learning like how different food is medicine, we
Mhm.
can still have the stuff we love in moderation that may not be the best for us internally or for our hormones, but anything's fine in moderation. Alcohol is fine in moderation, everything's fine in moderation. But really just understanding like, what your body wants and needs at like a basic level, I think is such a huge game changer because then you can shift like even with like things like people tracking macros. I had such a negative relationship with calorie counting because to me it was all restriction and it was all like I have to make sure I'm eating as little as possible. Where
Mhm.
now I look at it as I'm making sure I'm giving my body enough, or I'm making sure I'm giving my body enough of each area of what it needs, because if you're under consuming fats, it's detrimental to your hormones and your period and your menstrual cycle. If you're under consuming carbs, it's detrimental to your energy levels, your brain health. So I look at it in terms of that. And I feel like we really have to shift the mindset around what this looks like. That's one definitely foundation that we want to focus on. Um, Two, I was a cardio junkie, a hit workout junkie, and that's beautiful for heart health. It's great, to do to maintain, throughout your lifetime. But if you aren't focusing on strength training, and building muscle, we do ourselves a big disservice with not only our metabolism, but just like longevity of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you talk to any person that's, 50s, 60s, 70s and above, a lot of them will say, damn, I wish I focused on lifting weights earlier in my life because I would be in a way better place right now with just getting out of bed or,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I want people to understand you aren't going to be bulky or, like that's always a fear that we hear from our client or female clients a lot is, I don't want to be bulky. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
I've had that fear as well where I was like, I have to lift super light weights and high reps and all this. When really in reality, to get those massive muscle gains, you have to be eating crazy amounts of calories, crazy amount of protein. Like you don't look like that by accident, let's
That's
say.
not easy to get to, that's for
Yes,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, that was a huge game changer to me is shifting my mindset around my workout regimen and like why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so that's something we definitely teach in the program as well. It's not just about losing the weight and being as small as possible. It's about feeling strong, feeling healthy, feeling in control, and so I think those would be our main foundations we work on.
I have always liked, well, when I started to like exercise, I should say, I liked hit and things like that, but I always hated regular cardio. So boring to me. I
Mhm.
would rather die than just go around on them. So I got into salsa dancing a lot. And so that was my cardio for a very long time. And I still do it. It's super fun. But I like the hit classes because they give me like a rush of adrenaline, which is nice. Sometimes weightlifting doesn't give you that intense rush right away. But I had to realize this when I was working with you guys. I got a scan before I started. Then I got
Yeah.
another scan at my gym. kind of somewhere in the middle. And I noticed that my weight went down, but my body fat went up and my muscle mass went down. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, but I'm doing all these classes and I'm weight training, but I was doing too many cardio things. And my goal is not to lose muscle mass. Like I like my muscles. I want to actually have muscles that you can see. I don't need to be a bulky queen, but I like seeing the muscles on my legs and stuff. So I was like,
Hmm.
oh no. So I'm making a priority now to do more weight training. I could still do my classes, but I'm like lessening the hit ones every once in a while and then like maybe doing Pilates and then I go and do a weight training workout right afterwards. So it's nice to have the variety for
I
sure.
agree. Because
Sometimes it gets boring.
I love my classes too. Like I
Mhm.
like yoga sculpt in the
Yeah.
heat and with but I think it's just about a balance, like you
Yeah.
said, like weight training more often and doing the other stuff supplementally along the way, just like with food, we want to
Hmm.
nourish ourselves 80% of the time and that 20% of the time treat yourself with whatever. But yeah, that's very important. And it took me a long time to kind of understand that concept as well.
And the progress you were talking about that's not scale, like
Mhm.
non-scale victories are super amazing. Like I can see my progression in my weight training at different times in my life. And I'm like, oh my God, I like hip thrusted like 415 pounds one time, like I was like, damn, I was strong. And then I'm trying to get back there again. And I like seeing the weights go up. And then I can see that my muscle is growing. Like it's fun. And I like that. And it's a way for me to like get away and be by myself and like rejuvenate myself for my mental health. And I have like a lot of stress in my life and I am always going. And that's been my biggest problem. I think you told me you were a hairstylist before in a previous life,
Oh,
right?
I
So
was a
you know.
hairstylist for like 10 years. It was
Mm,
like I was behind the chair for like I think 8 maybe. But yeah, it's a physically and mentally demanding game. So I get that
yeah.
completely.
And I see a lot of hairstylists that have been doing it for a long time and new stylists. Like it's an interesting, I feel like you could just coach just hairstylists and have like a massive clientele in so many
It's
ways.
crazy. We have a lot of
Do
hairstylists.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Or like, and even estheticians. We have a lot of estheticians on our program too. And I think it's just because that high stress, high paced environment can really throw you off routine wise. And
Yeah.
even like when I worked with in the salon, like it was like you were trying to shovel in whatever you could eat in between clients. And
Yeah.
then after you're so exhausted that people are like, let's go get drinks, let's go get food. And so it was like almost like this like Groundhog's Day of doing that over and over and over again of really
Yeah.
unhealthy habits. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I had to learn kind of like how to make it work with the schedule, and it can be done. I mean, look at like nurses and
Hmm.
teachers. Like we work with so many different women in so many different areas, moms that are crazy, crazy busy. So it can be done. It just has to be a priority for yourself.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think most of the time I hear from people that they don't make it a priority, and that's the hardest part. Everybody else is a priority instead of them. And that is where you have to get to also. Like I've always tried to, but I think I make work or other things more of a priority, and I'm really trying to focus on my own, just my personal health because I'm like, I just turned 40 this year. And I hear people talk about how terrible it is and blah, 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 but also it's great. And I'm like, I don't have health problems. My back's already been messed up from car accidents and doing hair. And I'm like, I need to do what I could do because I want to live and I want to be able to go hiking and go on trips and travel. And I want to live a good life and I need to be healthier for that. And
Yes.
like eating at work is so hard sometimes. And I'm getting much better at it. I try to have like, healthy snacks, even if they're like processed sort of. I'm like, if
Hmm.
that's what I have to do, I have to go grab some Quest chips to eat so that I don't like binge at the end of the night because I'm so hungry. And then I eat a giant burrito and then I want to throw up because there's so much
Yeah.
food. But I haven't eaten all day, but technically it's probably fine, but I feel like shit. Like I'm
Yeah.
working on little things, protein shakes that are yummy and those things to have even in my purse because I'm trying to focus more on the protein and stuff too versus
Hmm.
just like calorie counting. But
For sure. It's
you
so
know,
important, especially with the strength training. The
yeah,
protein's so important. Hormone health, it's important. But
yeah,
like you said, like you have to like kind of do things in baby steps. That's another
yeah,
thing that for sure is like a foundational thing in our program is that you can't give yourself so much on your plate and then when you inevitably are not able to handle and juggle all the balls, then you beat yourself up about it. And so learning to just kind of do what you can.
Mhm.
What can you realistically handle currently? Then once we get that down, let's move to the next step, the next step. And that's something I've had to learn over the course of the years because me and my husband were both very like all or nothing, black and white, extremist tendency people. And I've had to unlearn that through therapy too. Therapy is such
Yeah.
a game changer when
Yeah.
you're on a journey like this because it's almost like it takes a village. You have to learn the mental side of things, you have to
Hmm.
unlearn mindset, you have to understand where your traumas come from because a lot of times the food stuff comes from a past trauma situation. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely have struggled with emotional eating, and I would eat
Yeah.
all the emotions, happy,
Mhm.
sad, excited, angry, depressed, whatever it was. That was the
For
only thing I
sure.
had for a very long time in my life because I grew up in weird cults and homeschool and toxic spiritual abuse environment. So like all I
Mhm.
had was that and my books that I was reading about somebody else's life. So I would just shovel in food as I'm reading. And I'm like, I realized I had to make different habits eventually, like I can't take snacks and watch a movie with me because I'll just eat it all right then and there. So I'm like doing little things like I will try to do for
Mhm.
myself. And it really has helped because the little steps get you where you're at. And
For
did you ever
sure.
watch What About Bob?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's an old movie with
Mhm.
Bill, whatever his Bill Murray in it, and
Okay.
it's like a therapy movie. It's really funny. It's old and
Mhm.
stupid. But he has
Oh.
this scene where he talks about baby steps and he's like,
Mhm.
baby steps to the door, baby steps downstairs, baby steps, and it's baby steps everything. And it's so true. But if you can't just like decide, I'm gonna work out 7 days a week, I'm gonna eat this many things, like never ever works for anybody ever. And then you
Ever.
just jump off and you give up. So you have to give yourself grace. And I try to tell my clients a lot of times when they talk to me and we talk about stuff and I'm doing their hair and I'm like, listen, one thing at a time. And then
For sure.
yourself grace because tomorrow's a new day. You could start over. You don't need to like let it take over.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so important in just looking at the like big picture of the cycles we repeat and
Yeah.
the universe, God, whatever you want to believe in, is gonna keep giving you the same lesson and packaged up in a different way over and over and over and over again until you break the cycle and understand what you're doing. And
Yeah.
that was me with the yo-yo dieting and the stopping and the starting. And that's most of our clients, where they do keep doing the crazy, crazy fast fix diets over and over and over and over again and expecting different results. And you just have to rip the band-aid off and start fresh.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Like we were talking earlier, you have to prioritize yourself. Well, for me, that
Hmm.
was like changing my schedule and not working as many long hours so that I can actually get up and go to the gym and work out and have some time for myself in the morning. Like I don't work till 12 now on a lot of days, and I'm trying to do like 8 hours. Shocking. As a hairstylist, that's a short day.
That's
So like I feel like a new person and I never want to do 10 hours or more again because I want to die. And I'm like, I feel like death and I hurt in the morning. Like I have to prioritize those things for myself. And since I've been doing that and making sure that I bring food and I'm trying to drink water, like all these things are changing. So, and it really is about a little bit about the habits. And that's what I appreciate about you guys when you do your little check-ins.
Mhm.
You have like a form I have to fill out talking about like your wins and maybe things you didn't do well that you want to do better at or whatever. And you guys are always very like encouraging and supportive of everything, which is really nice. And I know I work well with accountability, which is why I was
Mhm.
like, I need to work with people for a little bit to just to kind of like help myself because I think we all know how to lose weight, right? I mean, it's not super hard. We all know how it's done. But I listened to your phone call the other or your monthly call the other day on reverse
Uh-huh.
dieting. And I was like, see, this is what I need the help with because once you get to kind of like more where you want to be, then you're like, okay, cool, I'm here. And then you just either give up or you do the same
Exactly.
thing forever. And that's not where you're supposed to go. So I think for me, I want to learn more about the reverse dieting part, which is basically like eating more calories and all those things that you were talking about, which is hard. And you have to get over that in your mind because you're like, oh, but I'm eating more. My scale might be changing. But I mean, I think that's probably where most people go wrong is because
Yeah,
they
for
stop.
sure.
And so I don't know, maybe you can talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something I'm like crazy passionate about is that side of the spectrum is learning kind of how to maintain your results after getting to the goal. Or some people come to us and because of the fact that they've been under consuming or restricting for so long, their metabolism is running at a snail's pace because the body, it's physiological defense mechanism to keep you alive. So it
Yeah.
will get used to the fact that you've been barely eating and it will slow down its functions in order to keep you alive. And then people aren't losing weight doing what they used to be doing, you know?
Yeah.
And so they're like, I don't understand. I used to be able to do this, and this, and I would lose weight so fast. It doesn't work for me any longer. And a lot of times they'll attribute that to age. Oh, well, I'm getting older, so my metabolism must be slowing down. When in reality, it's typically our lifestyle choices that slows our metabolism down because again, it's years and years of yo-yo dieting, years and years of restricting. So the
Mhm.
reverse dieting process has like different, let's say, reasons why we would use a reverse diet. So one would be you ended a fat loss phase, you lost weight, you want to keep that weight off. You essentially do what's a reverse diet, basically going up in calories over the course of time, slowly but surely, and then decreasing your workouts, because at the end of a fat loss phase, you're going to be eating less and working out more because that's, what got you to the goal. But we can't keep that up forever. That's just not how it works. So slowly but surely decreasing physical activity and increasing the calorie consumption will work in the opposite direction where your metabolism will get used to you eating more, but you're not gaining weight because of how slowly we're doing it. So it's a really like nuanced process and we love it. And it's something that's really fun to teach people. But it is a mental game sometimes because people are like, what do you mean I need to eat more? Like, I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to eat this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. There's a lot of mental reframing on that journey. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about learning. I mean, I've taken nutrition classes and I've
Yeah.
done lots of
Uh-huh.
stuff and I know things, but not, I'm not good at making a plan, which is why I didn't
Mhm.
survive as a personal trainer because I was like, this is boring and I don't want to think this hard. I was like, I like working out. I liked group fitness, teaching group fitness more, but like the whole plan and like all that, it's just so much work. Like even for me, meal planning for the week, I'm like, ugh, I hate this so much. And I still struggle at it. So, I'm working on it, but
And
I
I
think,
like, I always tell people any goal is kind of, you have to do the same repetitive stuff over and over and over and over
Mhm.
to get to the goal. Like, look at anything like building a business with being a hairstylist. Like, you have to go
Mhm.
to work day in and day out, do clients, build a clientele. Like, it takes time and
Yeah.
repetition to get to where you've been to, or, getting a college degree, going to classes, taking tests, long nights
Yeah.
studying. Like, it's always boring, annoying stuff we don't want to be doing to get to the goal. Same thing with nutrition and fitness. Like, we have to kind of get used to the mundane and it just has to become part of our lifestyle. We just do it because we know that's what we have to do. You know what I mean? But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you can still include the things you love. So like you said, doing the classes here and there if that's what you really enjoy, or yoga or Pilates. And then on the food side of the spectrum, I was not someone that could cook previous to this journey. Like, my husband cannot believe that that's the case because now I love cooking and it's such a huge passion for me that like I had to literally call my mom and be like, Mom, tell him I literally didn't even know how to boil water. Like, I knew nothing. Like, I
Yeah.
was calling her, like asking her, like, okay, well, how many minutes do I have to put the water on the stove? Like, I knew nothing. And so I learned this from scratch. And what I really just decided to do was like romanticize the process. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to make whatever it was that I was craving at home with maybe better ingredients or whatever. And I romanticized the process of learning how to cook. And now I enjoy it where it's like something I look forward to and it's like a love language for me where it's like
Mm.
I want to do the taco night and have it with all the bells and whistles and make it like really cute. And I just like became really in love with the process. And I think that's something that's fun too with all areas of this journey is kind of like learning to like it, like fall in love
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
I think I need to get back to that point,
Mhm.
or I don't know if
Yeah.
I've ever been to the point where I
Yeah,
love
it can
cooking.
be done. I'm telling you, girl. I was not a chef, believe me.
I think if I did it, I have to like have my life can't be still all over the place and I can't be cooking dinner at 8 p.m. and
Yeah.
like be
Hmm.
excited, you know what I mean? So I'm still like not in the perfect place to it, but I love my breakfast. Like
Hmm.
breakfast is my favorite. I always love cooking that. I'm trying to have more fun recipes and try different stuff. But like you fell in love with cooking, I had to fall in love with exercise too
Yes.
because
Hmm.
oh, I did not grow up with that at all.
I
All
didn't
my
either.
brothers did sports and stuff, but girls didn't really need to. So what was the point of that? And then all I did was just eat, and then it just sounded terrible, and everyone would talk about it. And my friend was like, "Why do you come to this new place with me?" And because she was always on a journey and working out, and she lost a bunch of weight, and she was being really healthy and all this stuff. So she invited me to go to Orange Theory Fitness when they opened over here. And I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to do this." I was so mad about it. And then I went and I was like, I think what I like is competition with myself,
Mhm.
which is funny to me, because that's why I decided to salsa dance. I'm like, I'm gonna get good at this. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking do that. And then I was like, I think I'm gonna compete for myself to be better each time. And I don't know why, but that worked. And I fell in love with exercise. And like, I know some other coaches that are like more body positive, like bigger trainers, and they talk about joyful movement all the time, which I think is really important. I try to like tell my clients that struggle with exercise too, and they hate it, or that I don't like the gym and blah blah blah. And I'm like, listen, I didn't like it either, and it doesn't have to be that. But like, if you like dancing, learn how to dance and like start that journey. Or like, you like to go take walks. Like, you got to find something that brings you joy, and then you also have to realize I'm should be grateful that I get to have this
Yeah.
opportunity to move.
Yeah.
I can move. So like, there's all those little like internal changes that you have to work on before you can get any sort of like food freedom or exercise freedom, whatever you want to call it. But you have to like learn how to like it and love it, I guess,
For
because
sure.
it's always a punishment. I feel like it's been a punishment for most people.
Hmm.
Like food is either a reward or a punishment.
Hmm.
And then exercise tends to be a punishment because you ate
Yes.
too many cookies or I don't know. But like, especially women, I think that's hard for us to
Absolutely.
learn.
You're so, so right about that. And I was the same way. I knew nothing about working out. So I think that's too a lot of times why my clients can resonate with me because I was them to the fullest extent. Like I did not grow up working out. I
Mhm.
grew up on processed food. I grew up on crazy diets and I had to learn all of this from scratch. So same deal with me as far as workouts. Like the extent of what I knew about working out is my mom did like some aerobics tapes that were literally
Yeah.
from the 90s or 80s
Yeah.
or whatever. It was like Denise Austin.
Yeah.
And so I would, that was all I knew is seeing her do that occasionally. But outside of that, like I did some sports I swam when I was in middle school, and then in high school, got into partying and I went down that road. So all of the, sports stuff went out the window. So, and that's something else that I learned in therapy, just the same way that I use food as a coping mechanism. I did the same thing with, drinking and things like that because it was
Hmm.
just like a way to numb my life, because I wouldn't want to face myself in the mirror. But with fitness, my husband is the person that introduced me to fitness, and I
Nice.
learned everything from scratch from him. And then he learned everything about nutrition from me. And
Nice.
so it was kind of funny because we both taught each other kind of both sides of the spectrum. And it's crazy now to this day that I'm so knowledgeable and know what I know with fitness because if you told me this 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you.
People think that they can't do it. I'm like, yes, you can. I know people that have started CrossFit at 45 years old and got
Yeah.
into it. Like it doesn't matter. You just have to find your thing. And like I really started with group fitness classes, and that was
Hmm.
where I really liked it. And I also saw trainers at some of the gym that were like normal people, not,
Hmm.
and some of them were bigger bodied people, and
Yeah.
some were more normal, and they weren't all tiny little skinny people. And so I felt comfortable. I'm like, "Oh, if they can do it, I can do it." And so like actually seeing representation out there of people eating and working out and stuff like that is really helpful also for encouragement, which is why I decided to do personal training and group fitness for a while. Because it's like I need to show people that I can be like a bigger person and still do all this stuff, and so can they.
Because that's something I learned, had to learn on this journey is your smallest self is not your healthiest self. In every single case, that may
Yeah.
not be true, but for the most part, your smallest self is typically not your healthiest self. When I was at my smallest, I was at my unhealthiest,
Hmm.
so the size of you and how you look has nothing to do with your health, so
Hmm.
that's super, super important to differentiate the two.
Yeah, definitely. Um, do you have anything for people that are just starting on their journey that might help? Just some tips. I think I kind of already asked you, but maybe like 5 things that could help
Yeah.
people start just, I don't know, prioritizing themselves in this fitness health journey.
For sure. So I would say the basics, like just starting off from scratch, is one, eat a protein-rich breakfast. So many women don't eat breakfast, and not only does it
Hmm.
set you up for like a energy crash midday because your blood sugar plummets, and make sure it's a protein-rich breakfast because it's going to help you. One, it gets your metabolism flowing in the beginning. It's going to help with your energy levels. Two, it's going to help with satiation. So like you said, with, not going long periods without eating, you're going to be more inclined to eat a lot in one sitting. And,
Yeah.
and usually it's not, you're going to go for what you're craving, which is not the most healthy. So that would be number one, is eat a protein rich breakfast. Number two would be try to have like a protein, carb, and fat in each meal. And you don't need to set any parameters for yourself or count any calories or have a protein goal, but just making sure like you have some form of protein that you enjoy and a healthy fat and or a fiber or a carb in each meal really helps to kind of again help with energy levels, your hunger levels, all of that. Number three, I'm going to think of five.
I was just a random number. Sorry.
Yeah, is walking.
Yeah.
Before you even think about getting into the gym, I would set for yourself a goal for walking. And whether that's, using your cell phone and seeing what your step count is, and adding 1 or 2 thousand on top of that. Usually a good rule of thumb to start out with is like 6,000 steps a day, 7,000 steps a day. So maybe walk your dog a couple extra times a day. Maybe you park your car a little bit farther from the Walmart and,
Hmm.
walk farther. Maybe you take the stairs instead of the elevator. Just increasing your steps is a huge changer, excuse me. Not only for your mental health, but your heart health, just so many
Yeah.
different things. Walking is so important. That's three.
Yeah.
Number four, I would say hydration. So try to start drinking some more water. And that's something that I still, for some reason, is something I struggle with. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know why, but what helps me is to have like a big, like whatever you want, a Stanley. I got like a Stanley dupe on Amazon because I don't really care, but
Yeah.
some type of like 2 liter or more water thing. You can make it taste good. So sometimes I'll do like just lemon and some like stevia drops, and so it tastes like lemonade. And I drink that throughout the day, and just having like the physical reminder in my face helps me. But that's for sure. People are almost always dehydrated. And we sometimes also think we're hungry, but a lot of times we need water first. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
And then the last one would be setting for yourself morning routine or evening routine. So whatever
Hmm.
that looks like for you. If that's waking up 30 minutes earlier than you normally do to have like some quiet time so you're not just like jumping out of bed straight into your day and getting chaotic. Or maybe you gratitude journal. We talked about gratitude, about just what are we grateful for? Just jot down 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things that today would make today great.
Hmm.
That, and you could do the same thing before bed. What are 3 things that were really amazing today? And it could just be like you know, got out of bed. It could be
Yeah.
something that that basic, because sometimes the day is horrible. But when you
Yeah.
start like racking your brain to find something good, you'll find it, so I
Yeah,
think that really helps. And then just setting for yourself little rituals helps with morning and night. So those would be my five.
that was great. I like those.
Thanks.
Those are all very good ones.
Mhm.
So do you want to like share what exactly you guys offer in your coaching
Yeah.
program and just kind of
Mhm.
like if somebody's curious, maybe you can just shout yourself out a little advertisement for you
Yeah,
guys right now.
absolutely. You can follow us both on Instagram or I actually got hacked on TikTok.
I know, I saw that.
I'm so sad about it. I've been growing it for like a couple
Ugh,
years now, and I'm like, man, but I got hacked on my TikTok, so that's currently unavailable. But my Instagram's at Evita Eats, Evita Eats, and then my husband is Jovi Huff Fitness, Jovihough Fitness on Instagram and TikTok. But if you're interested in joining our program, we do consultation calls. So free consult calls. We'll get to know you. We'll get to know what you're looking for and let you know exactly how we work. But a little short synopsis would be we offer one-on-one coaching and we do everything we basically talked about, nutrition, fitness, and mindset. And we also have an option to do functional lab testing or coaching without labs. So there's like a
mhm.
little bit of a difference in price there. But with the labs, we're able to order hormone tests for you to see if there's any specific imbalances. And if so, we can help kind of set holistic protocols to help heal those things holistically. And then we also have, outside of one-on-one coaching, a monthly subscription to our app with custom workouts every 6 weeks and then one-time custom nutrition targets. And that's a month-to-month app subscription for people that may not need the accountability and hand-holding of a one-on-one.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I have to shout out your husband Jovi because when I talked to you guys on my consultation call, I was like, "Oh, this guy looks tough with all his tattoos, and I like tattoos." And then as soon as we started talking, I'm like, "Oh, this is one of those guys that's just tatted up. It's like super sweet teddy bear kind of vibes."
Yeah.
And then like he's so encouraging when he does all these check-ins and stuff, and I really appreciate all his positive, encouraging feedback. So yeah, you guys are both just really sweet and nice, and I found a couple of awesome people on Instagram because they hit me up. Like I had a personal trainer for a while that was a really sweet
Yeah.
guy, hit me up, and I go follow and I go look and I see what are you about, and you guys really felt just where I was at, like balanced and nice and sweet and stuff. So
That and we definitely come from a place of empathy because we've been there, we've been in the shoes, and we built a community, that's like feels like a family. And it's great because then a lot of our companies based on referrals, which is a beautiful
hmm
thing because it's like a big happy family of people that know each other and they're like, oh my god, you're on this program. So it's
yeah.
a referral program too. So
Oh, nice.
for our clients that are on our program, if you refer someone, we give you a free month of coaching. So we love to pay it
Oh.
forward.
Okay, so guys, sign up because I need some more free months. That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing a little bit about who you are. I appreciate it. It's been really nice.
It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you. I'm
For having
gonna
me.
put all your information in the notes where to find you
Okay,
guys again, and
awesome.
probably your website too, which is what is
Yeah,
your
we have
website?
a website, jovitalifestyle.com. So our company name is Jovita Lifestyle. Jovi and Evita merged together is Jovita.
Perfect name.
So yeah, jovitalifestyle.com has more info on all of our programs and a link to book a consult call.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys, or you. Thank you for coming on with my show.
Thank
All
you.
right, well, I will sign off and I will talk to you later. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
In the wind and rain.